Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. Um the other day my friend had asked me, why is it that, I always seem so jolly all the time? I'm always happy. And why is it that whenever, I fail an exam or I got injured in the gym, why is it that I can keep on smiling? And, you know, I thought about it for a second, and what I told him was, you know, time is going to pass anyways, and every single one of us has a life that needs to be lived to its fullest. And there's really no point in trying to be negative all the time, Be the victim of your circumstances or try to, control what you cannot control. And so I told him, sure, life can happen, that happens to everyone. Things can get tough. uh you might lose everything that you've worked up until that point for decades, but you cannot move forward if you always have this negative expression to your face all the time. And he's like, but sometime you should grieve a little bit, sometime you should, you know take the emotions out, right? Maybe express yourself a little bit more. And that kind of did make me laugh a little bit. And then I just told him, what's the point in that? There's no, it doesn't serve me or any other people to be negative or to rain about all of my problems. Everyone has their own problem, and we're all thinking what is best for ourselves. And when you try to spread that negativity all the time, you start to find comfort in your suffering, right? Because comfort loves company. So that will eventually just leads to you trying to find other miserable people and share in that until eventually you reach a point where that's all you know, that's all you've lived to know. You don't know the positive in life. You don't know what you can do with that life of your miracle, you know? 1 in 4 trillion chances of being born. You are the miracle. So please don't take, you know, your life for granted. Live every day, as if it's your last. I know it's the corniest advice. You've heard it a million times, but it needs to be reiterated because we hear these things, but we never take it to heart, right? We don't start applying it. A book is only as useful as what you take from it. You're not going to be able to read a book once and be able to perfectly apply everything that the book tells you to do. You need to have an open mind and be able to slowly adapt that teaching into your own life. That's what my videos are for. I upload these videos in order to inspire other people to bring fresh perspective, right? I always say in a lot of my video, or at least the core concept of it, to don't not be a victim of your circumstance, right? And use the cards that you have and use them to your best abilities. Each one of us are granted our individual talents, and we need to be able to utilize that so that we ourselves could live a good life, and eventually, as it is the highest form of achievement any man could have, to then be able to inspire other people. My friend also tell me a lot of the time, right? Why is it that I take fitness so seriously? And why is it that, you know, I do too much? Sometimes I do too much a lot of the time, right? With my diet, I take it very, very seriously, you know? And one day I just sat down with him and I told him, if I can't overcome any of my challenges, if I can't do what I tell other people to do, then I cannot inspire anyone, right? I need to be able to achieve the things that I preach in order to start telling people to do the same. And a lot of the time, I either get met with, no responses or a very confused, expression. And that's completely okay. It is one of those things that you need to have a heart, a will in order to pursue, because it is very, very hard to pull off. That's why, there's a lot of ordinary people and there are very, very few extraordinary people. That's because to the ordinary people, you are doing extra stuff. You're doing the extra that no one else is willing to do. That's the very sorry about that. Music just started playing out of nowhere. But you need to be willing to do all these extraordinary things that no one else is willing to do, and that's up to you. No one is going to, do the work for you but you yourself. You need to learn to confide in yourself, not others, because you cannot control the wills of other at all. And then this also leads into my next point, is that never try to, get someone to do something through words. Now, words are powerful in itself, but a picture is worth 1,000 words. You yourself need to become the picture, right? You need to become the inspiration. Learn to lead by example. The other day, I started to convince my friend to start posting because he has an amazing, amazing physique, right? He has spent years into the gym. I've personally worked with him, so I know how hard of a worker he is. But when I said that, he told me how, he didn't want to post because it is very, very corny, right? There's so much people already doing that thing that he feels like he's just he's not being different at all. But eventually he did. He built up the courage to do so. And literally, I kid you not, the same day that he did, a certain someone, for privacy reason, I would not, put names or anything. But one of his teacher who got back from a uh, spinal surgery reached out to him and expressed his gratitude, telling him how he was so motivated by his physique and wished that he could eventually achieve a body like that. And when he told me about, the whole conversation, I kind of had to take a step back and realize why it is that I do what it is that I do. Why is it that, even though other people around me tell me how corny I am, um, how I'm doing too much, how, I'm I'm such a cornball for posting social media. I have no result in any of the platform that I post. Why is it that I keep on going? It is because if I don't do it, I have no chances of ever progressing towards, being able to become an inspiration for someone else, right? I always or rather one of the reason why I got into the gym in general is because of, you know, figures like Tochi Fushiguro from JJK or Adam Yu. And, I realized that recently Adam Yu did hop on, he did hop on steroids. But in spite of that, he, before he even did, all of the steroid stuff, he was the reason why I got into the gym in the first place. And imagine if, the young Adam Yu 2, 3, even 4 years ago told him how much of a cornball he really is, how none of what he does will matter at the end of the day. Imagine if he took that personally and took that, you know, as gospel, and then he just stopped posting, went on about his daily lives. He wouldn't have been able to inspire millions and millions of other people and brought others to start making content themselves. That would have never happened. And I probably would not be where I am today. The same thing for my friend, right? Had he not reached out to me and, told me to get into the gym, take my diet seriously, uh, I wouldn't. I would still be that scrawny 98-pound 5'5" loser that, no one takes serious. And if you feel the same way that I do, I'm sure you also want to inspire millions eventually, right? Have that deep desire in you to be a better person. And the only word that I really have for you is to just do it. Um, a lot of the reason why we don't do what we want to do is because we start to rationalize why we shouldn't do it, because it is out of our comfort zone. But would you rather be able to tell your kids that, I gave my best shot? For a solid 3 years, I pursued what I wanted to pursue. I was the happiest man of my life, and I was able to inspire people. Or would you just tell your kids that, oh no, I didn't have the knowledge to do that. I had too much work on my plate. I had, I was too busy. I couldn't fit it into my schedule. Blah, 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 right? Everyone has a reason why they can't do something. And every one of us can rationalize why, because of those things, we shouldn't do it. And I think that's just a waste of your life, you know? With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Um, I'll keep posting more and more consistently as the days goes on. Um, after seeing my friend be able to inspire people, I want to also pursue the same path. Because deep down, I've always, dreamed of being able to do something that amazing. Thank you for watching the video.